शांति शांति शांति। ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आन शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रयवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्। ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय। ॐ नमस्ते रुद्रमन्यवभूतोतयिषवे नमः। नमस्ते अस्तु धन्वने बाहुभ्यामुदते नमः। यातयिषु शिवतमा शिवं बभूवते धनुः शिवाशरव्याया तव तयानो रुद्रमृडया। शांति शांति शांति। Now I want only the gents to chant the two shlokas. Om Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namaste Rudramanyavabhutotayishave Namaha. Namaste Astu Dhanvane Bahubhyamudate Namaha. Yatarishu Shivatama Shivam Babhuvate Dhanuhu Shivasaravyaya Tavatayano Rudramridaya. Ladies. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Ladies. Not all the ladies are chanting and not all the men are chanting. You're afraid you're making mistakes. Hello. No problem. Nobody is going to judge you. Nobody is going to give you medals if you chant perfectly. Swami is here. He just wants to make sure we all learn and chant this. Everybody together. Doesn't matter. All the throats should come out. Everybody should chant. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namaste Rudramanyavabhutotayishave Namaha. Namaste Astu Dhanvane Bahubhyamudate Namaha. Yatarishu Shivatama Shivam Babhuvate Dhanuhu Shivasaravyaya Tavatayano Rudramridaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And for those of you online, you are really unfortunate because you are not part of the satsang. You are probably watching this in front of a computer, but it doesn't matter. You can see Swami sitting right behind here. So you should all chant even online. Then only you can learn properly. I know a lot of people are joining online. At least 30 people were online last week. And so the point of this class, this satsang, is that if you don't chant intently, then you don't get the benefit of it. So just don't be quiet, children. Hello, Pavan, come on, chant, okay? Doesn't matter. Just try, right? Now, let's chant the second line again. Yata Ishu Shivatama Sivam Babhuvate Dhanuhu Siva Saravya Ya Tavataya No Rudramrudaya. There are 4 important things that we talked in the first mantra. There are 4 things that were referred to in the first mantra, which were, we were addressing the Rudra, and the Rudra, there are 4 things about the Rudra that were referred to in that first mantra. The first one is, hello, Manyu. Second is Ishu. Third is Dhanu. Fourth is Bahu. Rudra, we said, has many meanings, but the inner meaning of Rudra, apart from the most commonly used meaning, which is destroyer, and Swami said that is not the correct meaning, because have you seen me ever angry, he asked. So it's not, somebody asked, the priest asked him, why are we doing Atirudram? He said, Swami, to appease the anger of Rudra, he said. He said, anger? Have you ever seen me angry? God is only love. So Rudra, the inner meaning of Rudra is the source of everything. The source of everything. There are 18 different meanings of Rudra. The most important one that we should connect to in today's way of living, for spiritual living, is the source of everything. From the source of this Rudra come the, hello? From the source come the forces, yes. From the source comes the forces. And the different forces that are coming from the source. The first is the force of wisdom. Force also means flow. Even manifestations. Forces are the manifestations. So the first manifestation is the wisdom, which is referred to as Manyu. The second manifestation is the Ishu. Ishu means thought. Ishu also means arrow. The second force manifestation is the thought. The third, once this thought is manifested, something needs to connect to the thought and bring it out into action. So the one that is the bundle of all the thoughts is the mind. And Swami explains so beautifully what a mind is. One time he took the kerchief and then he said, what is this? He said, a handkerchief. How is this handkerchief made? It is made by putting together a whole number of threads. If you take each thread out, is there any handkerchief left? No. Look at this, the same thing with the shirt that you are wearing. It is nothing but a whole bunch of threads put together became this shirt. And once you start pulling out each thread, then there is no shirt, right? But where did the thread come from? Hello, this is very common. No, yeah, very common. Only children, yeah? A thread came from Swami, yeah, everything comes from. Where did the thread, what is the thread made of? Hello? Cotton, yes, cotton. So, the cotton ball, once it is woven, it becomes the thread, and once you put all the threads together, becomes the cloth, isn't it? So, when you connect to this Rudra, the Rudra is even the seed from which the cotton is coming from. Huh? If you understand what the Rudra is, if you take a huge banyan tree, everything in that huge banyan tree, hello, don't pull threads, da. Hello. Now I am in trouble. They'll go home and pull all the threads from the comforters. Okay, yeah. All right. So literally they are following everything literally here. Surya, Saryavakar. Sit prop, yeah. So the seed, the entire banyan tree is present in a small seed, isn't it? In fact, the seed of a banyan tree is very small. From that seed comes this huge banyan tree. So everything is present in that small little seed. That is the seed of wisdom. And from that seed came the cotton plant. And when the cotton plant came, then after the flowers come and it is pollinated, then the fruit comes, then the bowl comes, and the bowl has to be protected from all kinds of insects. And then after the bowl has matured, it would split and the cotton would come out of it, and the cotton has to be then harvested, it has to be cleaned, it has to be taken to a factory, woven by somebody, and then you go to Gap and buy for $10 a t-shirt. But you think, where are the clothes coming from? What is the start of this cloth that you are wearing? Where is it coming from? The seed. And in fact, who even created that seed? That person who is even the fundamental source of that seed, that is Rudra. Hello, you understand? Now when you are wearing this shirt, very simply, you are buying piles of clothes and stuff them in your closets. And many of them you don't even see for years. Some of them you only pull once in a while out. But imagine how many people have been involved in creating one simple cloth that you are wearing. How many people, millions of people have participated in a simple cloth that you are wearing. So, if you look at all those people together, all their efforts together, everything that has come together, the small seed became this cloth with the participation of so many people. That is the Rudra being manifested in so many different ways as the forces. Now this issue is the thought. And the issue has to be the thought, arrow has to be launched by a bow. And the bow is your mind. Hello? Everybody connecting, and don't bliss out. Sit properly, please. And the bow, in order to even launch the arrow, the bow needs the shoulders. And from the shoulders, actually, the thought becomes the action. So now, if you look at that very first shloka, it is describing the unity of thought, word, and deed. And that is what is called Trikarana Shuddhi. The purity of the three karanas, thought, word, and action. Those are the three Trikarana Shuddhi. Yes, brother. How can? So, bundle of thoughts together you need to compile. See, here is the way it works. The next one, actually, you are priming for the next shloka. Instinct is the fundamental basis. Instincts impel, impulses ideate, ideas act, actions habituate, habits characterize. So your character is fundamentally coming from the instinct. The fundamental source of the force of thought itself does not become action. Because in fact, a thought is simply a thought. If you don't do anything with it, what happens? Nothing happens. Huh? You're sitting here, I want to become President of United States. Thought. You don't do anything about it, will you become the President? Hello, I'm asking a question. Obviously, I have not thought about it, right? Now you start thinking about it. Will you become the President of United States if you don't act on it? No, you won't. So a thought is simply a thought. But in order to take the thought and comprehend it, and convert into action, you require a tool, and that tool is the mind. Yeah? Making sense? No? Yes? Think about it. A thought has no value if it is not converted into action. There are a lot of people that have wonderful thoughts. They don't do anything about it. In fact, everybody is a great scientist. Everybody is an Einstein. Only one guy executed on his thoughts and became the real Einstein. The rest of them are only Einsteins in their thoughts. You understand the concept now? In order to execute that thought into action, you need the tool. And this is very important point brother is bringing here, especially for the children. You are influenced by so much of your environment in your schools, in this society, and a lot of thoughts come to you when you watch the people around you. But if you simply let those thoughts pass by and do not convert them, those bad thoughts, into action, then you will be a perfect soul. You understand? Hello, children. Lot of people have, lot of thoughts will come. Oh, that guy is going, drinking. Should I go do that? Or drugs, or all kinds of things that are happening in the schools right now. They influence your mind and your instinct. And if you do not act on those thoughts, you will have a perfect character. Somebody raised their hand. Yes? Yeah. Yeah. So, lot of people have written books about it. If you look at what is given in this Rudram, I will guarantee you, none of those books have even fundamentally touched the incredible spiritual wisdom that is embedded in one Vedic chant, Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Now we can go on and on and on how much there is the beauty of the aspect about. The next one is Yata Yishu Sivatama Shivam Babhuvate Dhanuhu Shiva Saravya Ya Tavatayano Rudra Mrudaya. Now, the reference, yes, Amma.
When you want to be a famous basketball person,
Yeah.
if you don't think about it, you won't be it.
Correct.
And if you do think about it, you'll be one.
Yes, but what do you need to do after you think about it? You have to go and practice. Yeah. See how beautifully she said? If you think you want to become a great basketball player, you can become one. But in order to become the basketball player, you need to go and practice. And in order to do that practice with dedication, discipline and devotion, you need to make sure that your mind is properly channeling these thoughts. That's why I described the context of last week about the person hanging the clothes outside and how dirty they were until they cleaned their windows. Yeah? So the point of that story is fundamentally that the mind has to be clean in order to take a thought and execute it to a good action. Now we can go on and on and on. This is very beautiful because I'm very grateful to all of you. This is the 4th time I am teaching Rudram in the last 6 or 7 years. Every time a Rudram class has happened, because of the grace of all the devotees, Swami is basically making sure that I have the ability to understand this properly, because this is a tapas. How can you go and sit in front of a microphone and talk without comprehending, without practicing, without realizing? I'm not a perfect person yet, but I am very grateful to all of you, because if the devotees have not yearned, then I would not have gotten the opportunity. So only the devotees are the fundamental source of everything. So every time the devotees wish, Swami, we want to learn Rudram, this happens. And the reason why it is important is it's like releasing the next version of the software. The version 1, version 2, now this is version 4 of Rudram study. The version 4 becomes more and more refined. Yeah? So the people that actually came to version 1 did not get the fully baked version. Version 4 people are getting, actually, yeah, this is the 4th or 5th iteration of Rudram class. So the reason why, the first time I explained this mantra, it was only about the unity of thought, word and deed. But now Swami is making sure that it is fully baked, and a lot of people ask, why don't you put it all in paper and write it out, etc. No. He has to say. Swami has to give the permission for that. And right now, this context of the issue, the dhanu, and then there is a third one that is introduced in the next shloka, which is Saravya. Yata, let's chant Yata Yeshu Shivatama Shivam Bhagavate Dhanuhu Shiva Saravya Yata Vatayano Rudra Mridaya. See now, beautiful. The next mantra is saying, again, Yishu Shivatama Shivam Babhuvate Dhanuhu Shiva Saravya. Now 3 things are referred in this mantra. The first one is Yishu, second is Dhanu, third one is Saravya. Yishu means arrow, thought. Dhanu is bow or the mind. Third one is now Saravya. What is Saravya? Saravya is the quiver in which the arrows are stored. You see, when they go for hunting, they put the quiver. The quiver is in the back. And in the quiver, right? From the quiver they pull the arrow, isn't it? When they take the arrow, you go to the quiver and you pull the arrow. Now the third one that is referred in this mantra is Saravya, quiver. And this mantra is saying, now this arrow of yours, let it bestow only happiness. This bow of yours, let it give only happiness. And this quiver of yours, let it give only happiness. And let they all be the most positive of the positive. That's the actual meaning of what that slokam is saying. In Veda Pushpanjali it might have been written. She has the Veda. Can you read what is written in Veda Pushpanjali, ma? Yeah. Yeah. So the literal translation of that particular shloka is, O destroyer. That's what is written in Veda Pushpanjali. Okay, she took that out now that she understood. And it says, O destroyer, by that arrow of yours, that bow of yours, and that quiver of yours, which have become most peaceful, make us happy. Yata Yishu Shivatama Shivam means your arrow is Shivatama Shivam. It is even more positive than positive. Shiva means positive. Shiva means auspiciousness. Shiva means goodness. And see, this is the interesting thing. It says, O destroyer, hey Rudra, this arrow of yours, let it be most positive of positive. Now if you look at the literal meaning of it, how does the arrow become positive of positive? How can arrow be itself auspicious, right? So that's where the antarartha comes in picture. The antarartha meaning the inner meaning, the encrypted meaning. All these mantras have encryptions, the Da Vinci code. You have to connect to that. If you do not connect to the code, the meaning of this mantra has no relevance to your life, our life today. Not your means not your, mine also. Okay? So, in order to understand how is it relevant to our lives and our living, you got to understand the encryption. So, if you now substitute the issue, the arrow, with the thought, now you say, let the thought of yours be the most positive of the positive. Shivatama Shivam. Now, which one of you cannot connect to that? Because you cannot connect to bow, arrow, quiver. Nobody uses bow, arrow and quiver nowadays in today's world. Do they? Not really, yeah. You only use guns. Right? Yeah, yes.
We have archery classes.
Yeah, you have archery classes, but that's only for temporary entertainment. But in previous lives, people used to use them for living. But today you don't use them for living. But if you connect this thought of yours, let it be the most positive of the positive. And your bow of yours, let it be auspicious. That means what? The mind of yours, let it be auspicious and pure. And then Shiva, Saravya, this quiver of yours, be positive and make us happy. Now, here is the most important thing. From the word quiver came the verb query. Querying. You understand the word query? Yeah? Hello? Hey, children, do you know the word query? No? Yes, yeah, say yes. Otherwise, I don't understand whether you understand or not. So, okay, do you understand the word question? Question also came from query. Okay? Enquiry came from query. Inquiry came from query. So the quiver is actually about let your query, let your vicharana, let your enquiry become inquiry. Constantly enquiry. What is your name? Where did you come from? Do you own a mortgage? How much stock you have? What type of gold you have? Where do you live? How many children you have? This is enquiry. Always asking other person. Inquiry is, who am I? Where did I come from? What is my destiny? Why am I even around? Does it make any difference to anyone? Chumma, khana, pina, sona, marna. Huh? All that is, if you ask the question, what am I doing with my life? Khana, pina, sona, marna. That is what Swami said. That is, to understand why you are existing is inquiry. And so what this shloka, this mantra is saying is, by making us inquire about yourselves, make us happy. Mrudaya means happiness. Rudra, Mruda means happiness. Mrudani means the one who gives happiness. So what you're saying now, see this Rudra that you're referred to, there is a destroyer within you. Hello, the destroyer is not outside. Oh, destroyer is you fellow, who is constantly going, destroying everybody around. Huh? Oh, destroyer. Let your thought be positive. Let your mind be auspicious and pure. Let you inquire about yourself. And when everybody lives a life like that, everything else around is happiness. Hello. You understand how happiness came into picture? Huh? You understood? Yeah. I told the story of the kitten, happiness. No? Yeah? Did I not?
No, we weren't there.
Okay, you weren't there. Okay. A little kitten was going around in circles trying to catch its own tail. And the mother came home and she asked the small kitten, hey, what are you doing? She said, my teacher told me in the class that happiness is in the tail, therefore I am trying to catch the happiness. Huh? Right? Right. And then what happened? Huh?
Well,
And then what?
Yeah, now you heard the story. Yeah, you forgot. Yes.
And then the mother said, if you keep walking forward, happiness will follow you.
Yeah, she said, my teacher also told me the same thing. I started walking straight and happiness now follows me. Okay? So where is the happiness? If your thought is positive and if your mind is pure and you are constantly inquiring about yourself then, oh destroyer, you will make everybody around you happy. Now you connect to the destroyer is not God. Destroyer is who? Yeah. So the mantra is referring to who? Us, ourselves. Now you understood the meaning of the mantra. Let's chant the first two shlokas, how beautiful they make you connect to yourselves. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. So in 2008, when we were doing the Rudram classes, I compiled a number of Swami's sayings from discourses relevant to each of these mantras. So for this yacht, I will send file to Chandar. He will post it on the center website, and also will circulate it to the people online as well. So here, for this particular mantra, what Swami says from Divine Discourse, March 5th, 2000. What is the use if you involve in positive and constructive activities with negative thoughts in your mind? What is the use if you come to a Sai center, even if you have negative thoughts in your mind? That's what he's asking. What is the use if you involve in positive and constructive activities with negative thoughts in your mind? Get rid of negative thoughts first. Fill your mind with positive thoughts. Then the entire world will flourish. The society will flourish. Your village will flourish. And your home will flourish. See how he constructed? Hello, Sairam. See how beautifully he constructed? First he said, the entire world will flourish. The society will flourish, your village will flourish, and your home will flourish. Social service should expand from the individual to the society, and from the society to the entire nation. Do not observe any differences while doing service. It can be any organization. It does not matter. You go and participate. Service is your aim, sacrifice is your aim, nurture pious and divine feelings, only then your life will find fulfillment. Divine Discourse, March 5th, 2000. Yata Yishus Shivatama Shivam Babhuvate Dhanuhu Shiva Sharavyaya Tavatayano Rudram Rudaya. That is what that mantra means. It does, yes. What are negative thoughts? Anything that separates you from everything around you is a negative thought. That's the highest spiritual level of explanation. Anything that separates you from everything around you is a negative thought. Meaning what? You see somebody, now this is very important to comprehend, because you have to superimpose on this the context of dharma. Then it becomes meaningful. Anything that separates you from everything around you is a negative thought. Means what? If you see a person in pain and you cannot connect to that, it is a negative thought. Or you separate yourself, this is not for me, that is that guy's problem, then that is a negative thought, isn't it? Yes, Nandita.
Negative thoughts could be, actually all negative thoughts are bad, because it's like when a person is hurt, you just don't care about them and move away.
Yeah, that is a negative thought. No, she should be sitting here. I should be sitting on the other side. Huh? So what she's saying is, when somebody is hurting, you observe it and you walk away explicitly, that is negative thought, which is separating yourself from everything around you is a negative thought. Make sense? So, yes. Yeah. Buddhist monks, they separate themselves? No. Who said that? Now, Buddhist monk is a very general statement. I'll tell you a story which Swami told for one Buddha Purnima discourse. A Buddhist monk went into a lake to do his daily prayers. When he took the water out, he held a scorpion came in the water. And the scorpion was struggling in the water. He saw the scorpion was struggling in the water. So he picked up the scorpion. And as soon as he picked up the scorpion, what did the scorpion do? Stings. Then he said, ouch. And then he did like this. The scorpion fell in the water again. And it was struggling again. Then he took, today is Buddha Purnima celebration. In the center, the students are going to do some group 2. So very important you ask this question. Buddhism we are talking about. So when he picked up again, what did the water left and the scorpion, what did it do again? Sting. Ouch! It fell again. He picked up again. Then there was a fellow that was sitting on the top of the tree, like Rajan. He said, hey, are you crazy or what? Why do you keep picking up this scorpion? It keeps on stinging you and you keep on saying ouch and dropping it in the water. What is it that you're doing? And the Buddhist monk said, son, its dharma is to sting, my dharma is to save. Huh? Yes, Nandita. Question or comment or? Okay. Yes, we'll give opportunity for others. Yes? Question, yes.
How many times did the scorpion bite?
Okay, I didn't count. Rajan, do you remember? Okay. So now negative thought is something, but it is very important to understand. Then people ask the question, well, I will get crazy. There are so many people that are suffering. No. Then if I keep on watching them and helping them, I will go nuts. I wouldn't have... Then that's where I said the dharma comes into picture. Your dharma to save is, see now Buddhist monk, for a monk, the utmost dharma is totally, renunciation. So it doesn't matter to him. Since we are not monks and we live our daily lives, our dharma comes into the context of to the extent you don't hurt yourself. Then that is the dharma. Okay? So therefore, it is very important to comprehend. Negative thoughts are the most worst of negative thoughts is constantly saying that this is not good, that is not good. Everywhere problem only, yaar. What is this fellow, yaar? He has a problem, yaar. This fellow problem, yaar. Mother-in-law has a problem, yaar. Father-in-law has a problem, yaar. All these problems are the simplest, most mundane negative thoughts. Huh? Wayne Dwyer gives a very beautiful example. He said he was walking on the beach in Maui, and he ran across a stranger that says, oh, did you move here recently? Yes, sir, I moved here recently. How is this place? Then before he answered the question, he asked him, where did you move from? And he said, oh, I moved from New York. Oh, is that right? How are the people there in New York? Oh, lousy, man. Those people are always honking and they're doing this. I cannot even understand the accent. People in New York are very bad. And Wayne Dwyer looked at him and said, oh, people here are also very bad. Huh? You understand the meaning of what I'm saying? No, you didn't get it, Raji. You got it, okay. So, but the question, you turn around the question and ask, where did you move from? Oh, I moved from, the Bay Area. How are the people there? Beautiful, wonderful, incredible. Morning 5 o'clock, you have a Veda class, they come. No problem at all. Oh, say, how is Sacramento? Beautiful, same place. Just attitude. Negative thought is nothing but an attitude. And it is nothing to do with anything else. It's very simple way of living is, everything is positive. Everything is a grace of God. You get a problem, it's grace of God. You don't have a problem, it is grace of God. You understand? Yeah? So that is positive, yes? Didn't get your question.
How is getting a problem the grace of God?
How is getting a problem a grace? Oh, yeah. Did you hear the butterfly story I told the last time? No? Okay. Yeah? Huh? Yeah, he got the butterfly story. See, sometimes God gives problems to make you strong, so that you become much more strong in yourself, that you believe in yourself, that you get self-confidence. And those problems are not actually problems, they are actually making you get connected to God most importantly. You understand? So when you are practicing a basketball and the coach says, hey, come on, shoot more, come on, run more, do this thing, that thing up. You watch The Biggest Loser? Okay. So in The Biggest Loser, what do these big fat people, they make them, lift this, do that, and they're panting. They're saying, no, I can't do it. I'm hurting and all that. No, you got to do it. Now, do you think the coach is giving a problem to the person? Yes. Yes. But after they lost 200 pounds and they're slim and they're standing there, who is more happy, the coach or the person that lost the 200 pounds? The person that lost the 200 pounds. But when you are watching the show, you feel hurt that, oh my God, what is this coach doing? What's the point of all that? But after the whole thing is over and you see those slim people and they don't have any heart problems, their diabetes is not anymore a problem, etc. Now you see, prima facie, at the face of it, yes, there was trouble and problem. But after the person has lost the weight, it is only happy. Now, you understand now? Why is a problem not always a problem? Now, that doesn't mean you go give around problems to other people. You have to be qualified to give trouble to other people. Okay? In the case of that example I gave, the coach is qualified to give the trouble. But you and I are not qualified. So we can't go and give trouble to people. God is qualified. Therefore, he is qualified to give the trouble, because just like that coach, who, if they have a problem while doing this, they know what to do. If they kind of pass out, or if they have a heart problem, they have a medical person on the coaching place, etc. So you see, they're giving problem, but they know what to do if the person really hurts themselves. Same thing with Swami only. He'll push you. He wants to push you to the limit that you say, come on, Swami, what are you doing to me? Then when you are hurting yourself, it's like just teaching a bicycling to a child. No parent will let them, when the child they leave the hand off. They'll say, okay, bicycle. Take the hand off. The child is doing the bicycling. Then what happens? Slowly, the child is about to go hit a tree. Then they catch hold of them. Same thing Swami does. So this Shiva Tamas, now we are getting diverted into different things. Only 2 shlokas made. But the point is, when you learn Rudram like this, it has meaning to our life. If you learn Rudram only learning it for the sake of learning it, then it has no meaning. You don't even know what you're chanting. Now you see, when you say Yata Yushush Shivatama Shivam, obviously your thought is becoming positive. Your mind is becoming pure and auspicious. Your quiver is, the inquiry starts. Who am I? Why am I here? And when that aspects come together, the result of your positive thought, your pure mind, and an attitude of inquiry, not enquiry, all those 3 will lead to the result of that is happiness. Yata Yisho Shivatama Shivam Babhuvate Dhanoho Shiva Sharavya Yatavatayano Yate Rudra Shiva Tanura Ghora Yate Rudra Shiva Tanura Ghora Papakashini या ते रुद्रशिवा तनूरघोरा पापकाशिनी तयानस्तनुवा शन्तमया गिरिशन्ताभिचाकसीः Now what happened? गिरिशन्ताभिचाकसीः What? Give me the cha is गिरिशन्ताभिचाकसीः. Give me that part. या ते रुद्रशिवा तनूरघोरा पापकाशिनी तयानस्तनुवा शन्तमया गिरिशन्ताभिचाकसीः. I'll say the full mantra. या ते रुद्रशिवा तनूरघोरा पापकाशिनी तयानस्तनुवा शन्तमया गिरिशन्ताभिचाकसीः. यामिषुं गिरिशं तहस्ते बिभर्ष्यस्तवे. If you are not saying children, hello, you won't get the pronunciation. Yeah, you can't go online and learn it like that. You have to say it. Bibharshastave. Okay, Bibharshastave. यामिषुं गिरिशन्तहस्ते बिभर्ष्यस्तवे. बिभर्ष्यस्तवे. या गिरिशन्तहस्ते बिभर्ष्यस्तवे सेवां गिरित्रताम् कुरु माहि गुंसीः पुरुषं जगत् So that is Kuruma Higumsi. Yeah? So when you are looking at the English version, if the M has that symbol of, the Om, that means Higum. Okay? Kuruma Higumsihi. Okay? I'll chant the whole slokam. Yami shum girishantakaste bibharshastave Sivam giritratam kurumahi gumsi purusham jagat Yamishum girisantakaste bibharshastave Sivam giritratam kurumahi gumsi purusham jagat Sivam giritratam Kurumahi gumsi Purusham jagat It's like singing a song, beautiful. It's exactly like singing a song. Okay? Yami shum girishantahaste bibharshastave Sivam giritratam kurumahi gumsi purusham jagat Yami shum girishantahaste bibharshastave Sivam giritratam kurumahi gumsi purusham jagat Yami shum girishantahaste bibharshastave Sivam giritratam kurumahi gumsi purusham jagat Kurumahi gumsi purusham jagat Kurumahi gumsi purusham jagat When you are saying Kurumahi gumsi, there is a ha there, there is a visarga, sihi. Yeah, so when you are saying that sihi should be heard. Kurumahi gumsi purusham jagat Kurumahi gumsi purusham jagat So when you are chanting fast, it may not be obvious, but when you are learning, you should chant like that. So when you are chanting fast, Yami shum girishantahaste bibharshastave Sivam giritratam kurumahi gumsi purusham jagat Because you can't say see and then take breath. So from the context of chanting fast, you may not be hearing that. But when you are learning slowly, you should chant that. Now let's chant the two slokas together. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanura Ghora Papakashni. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanura Ghora Papakashini Tayanasthanuva Santamaya Girishanta Vichakashiri Yavishum Girishantahaste Vibharshastave Shivam Giritratam Kurumahi शिवा Pause here. I'm time bound, not kalatitaya. So I have to respect that there is next program coming up with the children. So please practice, and please, when you are practicing, contemplate on the meaning of what this means. I'm just giving you vignettes of what the meaning is. Veda mantras have 3 different levels of meaning. The first is the vachyartha, the literal meaning. The second is antarartha, which means the encrypted meaning. And the third is called the paramartha, which is the spiritual meaning. The paramartha is something which nobody can explain. Paramartha has to be realized within you. And without knowing the antarartha, you cannot realize paramartha. So it's like layer by layer, you are going into the meaning. So when you are practicing it, there are 2 ways. One is concentrating on the mantra, the second is contemplating on the mantra, and the third is meditating on the mantra. And when you start meditating on the mantra, the joy you get is incredible. It is just unexplainable. It cannot be explained. It can be only experienced. So Paramartha cannot be explained. It has to be experienced. But when you are practicing it, please, I will request the parents here to kindly practice with your children so that they feel that you are working with them and they also feel that you are all learning together. So that's my humble request to all the parents. Om Sri Sai Ram. Let's Sai Ishwarai with Mahen, then we'll start.